They are systematically killing the Christians in Nigeria. They've killed over 100,000 since 2009. They've burned 18,000 churches. This is so much more. These are their Islamists, Boko Haram. This is so much more of a genocide attempt than what is going on in Gaza. They are literally attempting to wipe out the Christian population of an entire country. Where are the kids protesting this?
Thank you. Because no one will talk about it, so thank you.
We're talking about Islamic terrorists that are killing Christians, and they've done it 100,000 times over plus in Nigeria the last 15 years or so. And it's a huge problem, and it's the tip of the spear. No one wants to talk about it.
Do you think that the administration should relist Nigeria as a CPC?
I think that if anyone's going to do it, it'll be President Trump. I mean, he is a person that brought attention to this issue in his first administration.
Trump surprises us once again. In a dramatic shift in U.S. African policy, President Donald Trump has re-designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. You might be having two questions from that statement. What do you mean by re-designated? And also, what is the meaning of country of particular concern? On October 31st, in a move that immediately ignited diplomatic firestorms, the United States officially re-designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, or CPC. This action wasn't just a diplomatic label. It was based on horrific, staggering casualty figures, with U.S. officials having over 7,000 Christians killed in Nigeria in 2025 alone. The question is, what does this designation really mean? Who are the perpetrators behind this violence? And is this religious genocide or more complex conflict?
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
Let's look into this. First of all, what is the CPC? It's a formal state departmental designation for countries that engage or tolerate particularly severe violations of religious freedom. It's a black mark that opens the doors for all kinds of sanctions, a halt to non-humanitarian aid, and intense diplomatic pressure. It drives even country investors. So no country, none at all, wants to even smile around countries that are given that label, talk less those who are having it. So none of them want to be associated with that label. President Trump made the announcement on social media stating, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern, but that is the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,475 worldwide, something must be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. Donald Trump gave a very straight and strict instruction, and he is even threatening to move military into Nigeria for some face-to-face or fast action, because this is not something he says he is willing to tolerate. This is the second time that Nigeria has been placed on this list. President Biden removed them in 2021, making this re-designation highly political and controversial. Let's look at the numbers cited by the U.S. government and human rights groups that propelled this decision. They are designed to paint a clear picture of targeted violence. The primary claim U.S. officials citing advocacy groups claim that During one reporting period, 3,100 Nigerian Christians were killed compared to just over 4,400 worldwide, positioning Nigeria as the global epicenter of Christian persecution. Other recent reports claim over 7,000 Christians, this is really painful, murdered in only 2025 so far, which means the numbers could go radically upwards because we have not yet completed the year. Crucially, these figures are heavily disputed, especially by the government of Nigeria, who came out to say that since 2023, our administration has maintained an open or an active engagement. The characterizations of Nigerian as religiously tolerant does not reflect our national reality. I have always said one thing. If you want to know what is the truth on ground, don't ask the government. Ask the people on ground. So I decided to go around and look in the internet and ask what is going on in Nigeria. How are they feeling?
It's not only the Christians they are killing. They are killing those who are not Christian too. But they are coming to assist. We should allow them, but we should not just depend on them alone because it's only God that can really save us from this situation.
We've been in a country whereby Christians are being killed, Christians are being denied. Okay, look at what happened to the other lady called Deborah some time ago. She was killed as a Christian, and she's a Christian, and up to now she has not gotten justice. There's no justice, and nothing is being done. You know, so Christians are now being scared to move about. Christians are scared to worship freely. The priests, the lay leaders, I mean the seminarians and all that. So things need to be done. It's bad. And if things are not done, this will continue because Nigeria, I know, they're not willing to stop anytime soon. So for me, it's very important they come in because this has been happening for a couple of years now. Nothing has been done. So I feel if Donald Trump said they don't want to come in, they should come in, and there's nothing wrong with that.
This one that Trump made is okay. If they can help us. I know them too, they don't do anything for free. They don't do anything for free, but if they can help us, we don't care about that one. There are a lot of souls that are lost.
Christian in Nigeria.
First, I want to thank and applaud the United States of American President Donald Trump for designating Nigeria as a CPC because this is one of the things that we have always wanted. For the message of the Nigerian president, that I think at this point, I will say that there is a time when propaganda has no appeal, where propaganda has lost an appeal. And this is actually the time, because whatever is happening in Nigeria at this moment, I will say that Nigeria is the worst place to be as a Christian, like the worst place in the whole of the world to be as a Christian, because you wake up every day with news of killings. Every day with news of massacring of Christians. Is totally a genocide that is happening here in Nigeria. There is nothing anybody will tell me because I have been in here for as long as I know. I've been in these places where these attacks have taken place. I've seen women who are crying for the loss of their husbands. I've seen children who are crying for the loss of their parents. I've seen parents who are crying for the loss of their children. I've been to churches that have been burnt down. These are not things that I've heard from the news or someone telling me. This is something that I witnessed somewhere. I've been myself. I've witnessed where terrorism is at the highest point, where people are killed and slaughtered like chickens every day.
Paul, I don't have a lot of time left, but I just want to ask you one last question. How have you and other Christians kept the faith during this persecution?
We are grateful for the organization I work with, Irish Global, who have taken it upon themselves to care for these persecuted Christians by providing relief materials, emergency kits, and then also providing them with discipleship where they are being told that despite all that is happening to them, Christ still loves them.
Paul Adamu, just so you know, the African church, the Nigerian church in particular, the Christians there have been an amazing example of faith through persecution and martyrdom. And we are praying for all of you very much. And we hope the president will do something that will make a difference for your...
Of genocides, including small children. Very soon I will make a press release. I will present how small children are among those that are killed. I will present the recent killings that Nigerian government don't want the world to know.
Christian genocide in Nigeria. This is a propaganda story that has been circulated. This narrative, whether spread intentionally or not, it's false and dangerous. Our international observers and foreign media, there is no such thing as Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. What Nigeria is experiencing is a wave of insecurity that affects all citizens regardless of faith and background. We're going through difficult times, economic hardship, insecurity, and social instability. It is important to understand that this propaganda can create distrust, division, and fear among Muslims and Christians in Nigeria. Dear fellow Nigerians, our nation has already suffered deeply from religious crisis in the past, and we cannot afford to repeat that history. Our focus must be on peace, unity, and collective progress. We must come hand in hand, Christians and Muslims, Northerners and Southerners, to overcome our challenges and rebuild our nation. Instead of amplifying propaganda, let's amplify the truth. Instead of spreading fear, let's spread hope. Nigeria is our nation, and our strength lies in unity, and our future lies on peace.
They are tired to be outside performing burial every day, and they expect us to silence. Now is an order. Nigerian government came out openly and denied there is no massacre, there is no genocide of Christians in Nigeria. And look at it today. Is there any Muslim here? United Nations, I know you're watching it. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria.
I have a question for people who claim that there is no Christian genocide happening in Nigeria. How many times have Christian groups beheaded Muslims just for their religious beliefs? How many times have Christians harmed Muslims who were evangelizing or who were preaching the Quran? How many times have you heard that Christian groups went to mosques and abducted worshippers there? How many times? That barely happens. Never really has happened. But one thing continually happens. Muslim radicalist groups going to Christian villages, bombing them, shooting sporadically, killing people, bombing churches. One of my friends lost her mother-in-law during the bombing in a Catholic church. Christians have been killed because they were evangelizing. Christians have been killed because Muslims claimed that they blasphemed against their prophet. How many times have you heard a Christian kill a Muslim because they blasphemed against Jesus? Because they said something about our faith that we did not agree with. Oh, but Muslims are also victims. By who? By Muslim groups. So Muslims are the perpetrators. And by the way, they are not targeting Muslims. They target Christians, and Muslims become a collateral damage. And I mean, a lot of Muslims don't mind dying for their God. A lot of Muslims find it something of pleasure to die expressing their faith. I'm very sure that some of the Muslims who have been killed in these crises are very happy to go and meet 72 virgins. How many times have you guys protested against the genocide that's been going on in the north? Why have you guys not spoken all this while that it's a genocide by Muslims on Muslims? But all of a sudden, because the Christian genocide happening in northern Nigeria is gaining a lot of global attention, all of a sudden you want to rewrite the narrative and so conveniently say that, oh well, but Muslims are also victims. Victims of who? Of Muslims. So long and short story is that there is indeed a genocide by Muslims to Christians and maybe to some Muslims. But well, we Christians are speaking up for ourselves, and I guess what you should do is also speak up for yourself. That's very simple.
The Nigerian government also argues that why analysts and other people think that why Christians are clearly targeted, the violence is indiscriminate. Tens of thousands of Muslims are also victims of the same armed groups, particularly in the Muslim majority north. The debate is about the intent of violence, not just the raw numbers of victims. But I don't know how people can think about that. It's not just about the intent of violence, it's also about the number of victims. How can this number of people be slaughtered? Oh, God. Nigerians, I'm sorry. I know we Cameroonians, we are also facing a very huge problem of our own. My city where I come from has been massacred to oblivion. But I always sympathize with people who are having this kind of situation because I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. It is the most despicable situation to happen to any place. Now, amongst the groups of people who are committing this act is not only one group, according to the reports on ground. The first group that is doing this act is the Boko Haram and the ISWAP or ISWAP. The Boko Haram is not a group that anybody listens, hears their name and jokes around. My country, Cameroon, we have the northern part of Cameroon where we have the dominance or the prevalence of the Boko Haram as well. And their activities have been diabolical, to say the least, because when they start penetrating the country and committing acts of violence, their trail is a trail of... These are classic, high-profile Islamic terror groups operating primarily in the northeast. They actively seek to establish an Islamic Caliphate or specifically target Christian communities, churches, and government infrastructures. The second group are the Ahmed Fulani militants or the Ahmed headsmen. These attacks concentrated in Nigeria's middle belt are far more common and deadlier. While often described as a conflict over shrinking grazing land due to climate change, that is what the Biden administration said they used to remove Nigeria from the CPC before, because it is because of shrinking grazing land or water shortage due to climate change. Between predominantly Muslim herders and Christian farmers, human rights groups argue the systematic burning of Christian villages and churches clearly shows a religious and ethnic cleansing component. Now, the third group of people doing this kind of act are the Ahmed banditry. These are criminal gangs in the northwest, often made up of former herders. Their primary motive is ransom and criminal control, but the attacks still target all communities, Christians, Muslims, contributing to the overall chaos. The CPC designation is a powerful diplomatic tool. It validates the suffering of the Christian victims and increases global pressure on the Nigerian government to act against the perpetrators and end the pervasive culture of impunity. This is the truth. No country wants to be linked to the CPC. And there are a couple of countries that are under that particular label. And even countries don't want to be associated with countries who have that label on them. So it is a very terrible label for any country to be added to. Now, when you're added to that, there are a few things you start losing as a country when you're added to that list. Okay, you start losing non-humanitarian aid from especially the USA. You start losing investors who start backtracking or distancing themselves from you because they are looking at you sideways. You also start losing credibility on the world stage, and it puts pressure on the government to act fast and do something about it. And this is why we are so happy about social media, because social media spreads awareness on issues that before would have been swept under the rug. The mainstream media of every country would have come out and lied. Like in every African country or even any country in the world, you have a media that is just built to lie for the government, and then you will only have the small media persons or the independent media people who will speak the truth, and they are often persecuted for speaking the truth out there. And that's why we're very happy that we have this pressure mounting. People are able to spread news far and wide when it's happening on ground, and people can take action. Please spread this news. Christians are dying in Nigeria. People are dying in Cameroon. People are dying in Sudan. People are suffering in Tanzania. People are suffering in many African countries and other countries in the world. Please spread the news. If you find it, share it. And if there is any that I missed, please let me know in the comment section. I picked this up because someone commented in my last video telling me about Trump. Then I had to research it. So thank you guys for giving me this information. It was wonderful information, and I applaud you for sharing it with me, because I would have just not paid much mind to it, because Look, as a Cameroonian, I'm going through a lot. Our country as a whole, we are going through a lot right now. My political channel is covering that kind of thing. But the danger is that putting a country on the CPC oversimplifies a complex crisis rooted in land politics and criminality, potentially alienating the Nigerian government, whose cooperation is essential to saving lives, especially. So, this is another thing. So many Nigerians are complaining about this, and there is this pastor who was out here at a funeral. He was trying to lay to rest some of the individuals who have been massacred the way. It is a very painful thing to see, and he called on everyone to look into this. He called the US representation. He called the Nigerian government. He called Africa. He called people to look at it. The man was speaking from his heart of hearts. And apparently, thank God, President Trump must have seen it. He brought it to his desk and he took action. Yes, but this action is being seen by others as another method for the American president to find access into Nigeria to do something. There is this person who has been going viral with a video where she's talking about what she said. You listen to what she has to say.
Is Trump really trying to play in our faces with this strategic messaging about Nigeria? So he just called Nigeria a country of particular concern because, in his words, Christians are being slaughtered. And he is talking about the 3,100 Christians who've sadly been killed, right? But we need to slow that right down, because when you use faith like that and you ignore the Muslims dying too, it starts to feel like their lives don't count. And more than that, it hides what's actually driving the violence, because do you really think that this is about religion? Anyway, I need you guys to stick with me so you can see what's actually going on here, right? It's the same conflict, same killers, and this isn't new. It's chaos that's been brewing for years. Armed groups, gunmen, rogue herders, all moving through gaps that the governments have failed to fill, right? Isn't this the same play that we've seen in Haiti, Sudan, DRC? Convenient? Break the state, then swoop in with a savior story. Why now? Why Nigeria? Well, here's what they're not saying, right? Nigeria's got $40 billion in oil exports, some of the largest gas reserves in Africa, solid minerals, gold, lithium, tin, resources that maybe the US needs, especially in a Cold War with China. And it's not just what's underground, is it? It's the land. The Middle Belt grows the food that feeds the nation, fertile, rain-fed, high yield. And guess where the most violence hits? Right there. And I need to clarify, right? People aren't being killed just because they're Christian. They're being killed because they're in the way. And many of them happen to be Christian because that's what it dominates that area, right? So this isn't just about faith. It's about land control, food and power. That same zone full of ginger farms, mineral-rich soil, and foreign players are circling. The Gates Foundation invested in smallholder farming, agri-tech, yield targets. This is not a conspiracy, right? This is public record. But when the West enters through aid, it rarely ever stops at support. And some will say that these killers don't move alone, right? They're backed, tolerated, or armed by whoever's buying access. Local counterparts, foreign deals, the highest bidder. So when you hear Christian persecution, ask what's really at stake and how close the nearest air path is, right? Because China's already in, right? Ports, refineries, defense deals, ammunition, factories. And now Trump wants Congress to get involved. That's not just concern. That's positioning. Because when America talks about saving Christians overseas, come on, man, is this really about faith? It looks like it might be a green light. It moves money, activates voters, justifies presence. And while that's happening, he's also saying, you know what? Maybe we should save Nigeria's best talent and make them come over and move to America. So which is it? Are you worried about the people dying, or are you more concerned about scouting the ones who survive?
Also, some of the Nigerians who are also reacting to this think that Donald Trump's interest in Nigeria might not be genuine because there are many other countries where Christians are far more persecuted than Nigeria. To that, I don't know how you want to view it, but I think that saving lives at a point sometimes, like one of the Nigerians said, it maybe have to do with taking a deal with the devil in order to save their families' lives. Now, how that is going to pass across, how this is going to be taken to the end, hopefully it leads to more communication between the government and the United States such that they can feel shame. Hopefully this thing makes the Nigerian government to feel some kind of shame and decide to take action to save its own people, the people they elected them to save. And that is the most deplorable and heartbreaking part about African politicians. They are voted into power and they go in there and they make a mess of everything. People are suffering, people are dying, people are crying, and nobody is listening to them. And it is the most painful thing to see. And hopefully, this generation is coming to an end with this. Hopefully, the next generation is going to take a new path, not the path of permanent presidents and permanent evildoers who just change their skeletons according to the conditions, like chameleons, and when they are in power, they just do what they like. Please, spread the message wide, and I'm praying for all of you Nigerians who are going through this. I'm praying for us, my Cameroonian brothers and sisters who are going through hell right now. I'm praying for those in Tanzania, those in Sudan, any country that is going through it right now. We are praying for you, and hopefully you will get through this successfully and find your place to hold your head high and proud to be a citizen of your individual countries. Until next time, bye.
The United States government is killing Christians in Nigeria because in 2024, the Congress admitted to funding Boko Haram through the U.S. aid.
Your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram.
Now, anybody that has a brain in their head knows that it's not just the U.S. aid that they're using to fund Boko Haram. So after admitted to funding the terrorist group that they claim is killing only Christians in Nigeria, only for them to turn back and say they're coming to save. How about stop funding them? I think it was last week, they attacked a community. It was a Muslim community and they killed people there and took over the village. The United States government are the ones funding these people, which they've admitted to, only for them to say they're going to invade, they're going to... And to those of you supporting them, what is wrong with you? The same thing that was used to deceive your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father, the same tactic is still being used. Is it that everybody in your family doesn't know how to pick up a book? In 2003, the United States government invaded Iraq. Before then, George Bush was telling everybody how Iraq wants to invade America, while they were convincing everybody that the Iraqi government are jealous of their freedom and they are oppressing the Iraqi people. So the slogan for them invading Iraq in 2003 was Save Iraq, that they want to go and save the people of Iraq from their oppressive government. You went there to save the people. The American troops arrived in Iraq in the middle of the night and they detonated 10 bombs to 10 civilian locations, not even like the GRA, the poor people side. They detonated 10 bombs in the middle of the night for people that didn't even know that anything was happening, because there was a video of Saddam Hussein laughing when he saw the video of George Bush saying Iraq wants to invade America, because as at the time of this event, their army was mostly ceremonial. They were not prepared for war, so they had no intentions. And in their head, they thought America was just talking, I want to invade. They didn't know that Americans had planned to invade Iraq. And in less than 48 hours of the American troops reaching Iraq, they took 100% control of two of the biggest oil wells in Iraq. 100% control in less than 48 hours, to show you that their army was not even prepared for anything. And this is the playbook that they've used over and over and over again. Now they're talking about the Christians in Nigeria being attacked. Meanwhile, there's information out there admitted by the United States Congress that they're the ones funding these terrorist groups. Niger Delta is a Christian state. There has more Christians there, and it has oil. They're going there because Dangote refinery is now taking food from their table. As you guys know, no Western country can function without resources from Nigeria. That's why the Kissinger report exists. And I made a video about the Kissinger report where he said the resources in Nigeria must not benefit the Nigerian people. Now, with the Dangote refinery processing the Nigerian fuel and the Nigerian government looking to commission other refineries as well, they're taking food away from the Americans because they're not self-sustaining. They rely on wars to feed. That's why they're trying to invade. They're invading because Nigeria is trying to take control of some of its natural resources. And to those of you in the comment section cheering them on, they're going to start with you, because when they come, they don't attack the rich, they attack the poor, the extremely poor. Those are the people they attack. Pick up a book, for God's sake, so that you will know the playbook that these people have been using. They've not changed anything. It's the same strategy. They say, oh, they're killing people here, we want to go and help. Look at what's happening in Sudan. Blood trails can be seen all the way from satellites. Blood trails can be seen in Sudan. They are executing people. The videos are online. Go and look at those videos to give you an insight of what they're coming to do to you, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim. Because at the end of the day, you are black, and these people do not care about you as long as you're black. They don't even care about their own people. They've been robbing them. Even if you buy a house, you buy land in America, now you will still be paying. You can't plant your own crops. If you try it, they will arrest you for planting crops from the seeds that you got from your own land. You will get arrested for it. You have to pay. You have to buy seed. They did this by convincing the American people that you guys are superior. So those ones, they were stuck on, oh, we are superior. Meanwhile, they were robbing them. So they don't even, this group of 1%, they don't even care about anybody. If the American government is actually serious, they will look at what's happening in Sudan. People are being killed, but the people that are involved in what's happening in Sudan is the United States, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates. These are the three countries that are happening. As a matter of fact, Dubai's gold just increased in the last 1 year by a whopping 29% of the genocide happening in Sudan in just 1 year. These people do not care about you. If you like tattoo cross on your head, all they see is black. And in case you didn't know, black people were not allowed in church. They even did black Bible. They did Bible. Eventually, when they started allowing black people to have access to Christianity, they had to do a special Bible for black people. I honestly don't know why there's so many daft people around here. This is why these people have the audacity to open their mouth and say black people are dumber than every other race. Because what is this? How can they use the same tactic that was used on 5 generations ago? 6 generations ago, the same tactic, nothing has changed, and in 2025 they're using the same tactic and it's working. Why wouldn't they say black people are stupid? We don't have the ability to govern ourselves and shit like that. Why wouldn't they say that? Somebody pick up a book. I beg you people. You don't even need to pick up too many books to see that it's a playbook and nothing has changed.
For those who don't know what's going on, apparently the Western world or Western media have started talking about the killings of Christians in Nigeria. And a few groups of Nigerians are not happy about that. And I'll try my best to tackle all of them here. Now, some say that the West doesn't care about what's happening in Nigeria. All of it is just some agenda, you know, political agenda and stuff like that. Newsflash, Boko Haram is and was a political agenda.
They know, they created it, they invited it. Like in Nigeria, are you not aware that some leaders of this country went to go and they brought these terrorists? Is it not on record? They were even boasting about it. How they went to bring in terrorists into Nigeria. Terrorists. Eh? You think they don't know? The whole world knows.
The killing of Christians is an agenda, but it's okay. Recognizing and talking about the killing of Christians, that's the wrong agenda, or that's the bad agenda. Some people are saying it's because they want people to remove their eyes from what's happening in Gaza, or remove focus from there and focus on somewhere else, Nigeria. Let us agree that's what's happening. So what? Were we not doing I stand with Israel, I stand with Ukraine before October 7th? Making people remove their eyes from the Ukraine own to the one happening in Gaza? And remember, before the Russian-Ukraine own, it was virus 13, everybody's eyes were on. No war has the monopoly of the eyes of the world. If the world decides to look at another war and forget about your war, you're not a victim. Welcome to how things work. So my sense, because Shetima went to the UN and talked about the people of Palestine, and the evil people are now making that people should start looking at what's going on in Nigeria.
The people of Palestine are not collateral damage in a civilization searching for order. They are human beings, equal in worth, entitled to the same freedoms and dignities that the rest of us take for granted.
First and foremost, Nigeria is not a country that they will lose sleep over. So those are a lot of resources used for a country that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And I could be wrong there, but a few days ago, Google came out and said the last administration was censoring them or making them censor a lot of news and a lot of people that talk about some things. It is possible that now they have freed the website and stuff like that. That's why news like this is flying up and down. There's that possibility. But you know what? Let's agree with what Shetima said. So Shetima went to the UN, didn't talk about the problems we're having in Nigeria. I was talking about Palestine. That's funny. Look, if you put yourself on somebody's radar, you can't complain if that person shoots your plane down. As I said, if this is true, nobody sent to go and put your mouth in a conflict that has nothing to do with you, where you could have talked about the conflict happening in your own place. Now, many people are angry and saying that they are also killing Muslims too. And that is true, that is fact, but that doesn't change the fact that they are killing Christians. You know that, right? That's almost like saying that the Christians should keep quiet because they are killing Muslims too. The Christians in these places are being killed because of their faith. The Muslims being killed, I don't know why. Only they can speak about what they know. But here's the problem. Under good luck, Muslims were being killed. That is a fact. They rallied and they complained about the killing. That is fact. Buhari entered office, and from the information out there, the killings of Muslims increased. The same outrage and crime. Half of that self that was seen under good luck was not seen under Buhari. This is fact. There were only two prominent people that I know talked about it during his time. If you remember, there was this imam that was in Abuja, if I remember. He said this to everybody's faces. He said that now that Buhari is the president, nobody's crying and complaining about the killing and everything that's happening. He said it. What happened to him? From the information out there, he was removed from that his office. Before I used to see his videos up and down. I can't remember the last time I saw his video. It's more than a year. Second person, Aisha Yusuf. She's been talking about all of this. How has she been treated by the North itself? Go and check her old tweets about Buhari and insecurity. Go and see the people that attack her the most. Some are angry because they are talking about the killing of Christians and non-Muslims. No vex, the vice president doesn't know this. You want to tell me he doesn't know what's happening in the North too? Or he said his own people too don't deserve that either. Look, I'm not saying that they are not killing Muslims in Nigeria. I get that. I get that people are even angry about that. But here's the question. What stopped many of you people from talking about it? Most people that have been posting that they are killing Muslims too, go and check the timeline. 95% of them have never posted anything about the killings happening in their places. Somehow is when another group is getting recognized, that a lot of people have been posting about it, then they are angry about it. Please ask yourself this question. If you don't post about this shit, but somehow you want to complain when other people that have been posting about this get recognized, that's kind of being a hypocrite. Like, seriously, how do you expect people to take you seriously? And what's even more funny, many people are more angry about what the Western world say about Nigeria than what our government even just said about what's happening in Nigeria. Look, if the world start looking at Nigeria, Nigerian government will have to do something about insecurity. What am I talking about? About terrorists in the country, which will be good for all Nigerians, Christian and Muslims. But somehow some people want to make this a pity popularity contest. Now I'm going to end this video with this. Even if this right now is done because of an agenda, thank you. There's been too much Nigerian blood sprayed for this not to become an international crisis. According to the information out there, there are 7 terrorist groups in one country. Afghanistan only had 1. We have 7. If not for anything, thank you for making many of us see who really cares about what's happening in Nigeria. If you're going to the Western world is not our friend and they just want to use us, yeah, that might be true. But guess who is definitely not our friend? Boko Haram and the remaining 6 that popped out of nowhere. And I'm positive whatever use they have for us is not something we're going to like. And that's the bottom line, because the monograph said so.
Tell me, how can I sit down here and say, yes, they're doing something? What are they doing? What are they doing? Pampering Toju Bello. Even the people they managed to arrest, or the people they managed to apprehend. Esther, you are aware that without knowing it, they would have rehabilitated them into the military.
Are you telling me? On several locations, a former GOC military personnel recently during an interview disclosed how they caught about 5 of the terrorists. And he said those terrorists were terrorists that the United Arab Emirates, remember the time they sent them the names of these individuals. They apprehended them. He said while they had apprehended them for prosecution to commence, someone somewhere just said those guys should be released. He said it. A former GOC commanding officer actually said it. So I don't know if these individuals are state-sponsored. Barrister Darlington, let's talk about the importance of governance.
I didn't hear you well. You said that somebody somewhere said that they should be released.
Somebody somewhere.
Somebody somewhere.
Yes, an order came from somewhere.
And they released them.
At the time.
And they released them.
At the time.
And these are people fighting terrorism. Can you imagine? This behavior, is it not enough for the military guys who are dying to come out and ask them, what are you people doing?
Okay, Barrister,
let's our life.
Against Christians, allegations, Tinubu to meet Trump soon. Of course, that's ascribed to the presidency. And we have some riders here to give us an insight into how the Telegraph is reporting it. Don't test Trump. U.S. won't look away. That's ascribed to Rep. Miley Moore.